San Francisco, 1968. Lovers drive out to lonely roads to find quiet under the stars. But, in the shadows, a predator waits. His name will come to haunt America, the Zodiac Killer. For years, he hunted without mercy, taunted the police, and mocked the press. He sent cryptic codes, strange letters, and chilling threats. He became a phantom of terror, and to this day, his identity remains a mystery. Was he a single man? A group? A trickster hiding in plain sight? This is the story of America's most infamous unsolved killer, the Zodiac. On December 20th, 1968, two teenagers, Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, went for a drive in Vallejo, California. They parked on a remote stretch of Lake Herman Road. Moments later, their lives ended in gunfire. Betty Lou was shot 5 times in the back as she tried to flee. David was killed at close range. Police struggled for leads. The attack seemed random, but 6 months later, on the night of July 4th, 1969, another couple was targeted. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Maggio sat in their car at Blue Rock Springs Park. A vehicle pulled up. A man stepped out with a flashlight and gun. He fired into the car, wounding Michael and killing Darlene instantly. An hour later, the phone rang at the Vallejo Police Department. A calm male voice confessed to the crime. He also claimed responsibility for the previous murders. This was the beginning. The killer had a voice, and soon, a name: Zodiac. In early August 1969, 3 Bay Area newspapers received nearly identical letters. Each began the same. This is the Zodiac speaking. Inside, the killer detailed his crimes, proof only the murderer would know, and each letter contained a third of a complex cipher. The killer demanded that papers publish his codes or more lives would be lost. Families opened their morning papers and found themselves staring at strange symbols, letters, and cryptic messages. What did they mean? Could his identity be hidden inside? It was a schoolteacher and his wife who finally cracked the first major cipher. Known as the 408 cipher, it revealed the killer's twisted worldview. I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all. But even as his words were decoded, the truth remained hidden. There was no name, no address, only a promise. Zodiac would kill again. On September 27th, 1969, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking near Lake Berryessa. It was a sunny day, peaceful, but soon a man approached. He wore a dark hood, his face hidden, and on his chest, a symbol, a cross within a circle. He claimed to be an escaped convict. He tied the couple with rope. Then, without warning, he pulled a knife and began stabbing. Brian was stabbed 6 times, Cecilia 10. He calmly walked away, leaving them for dead. Before leaving the scene, he scrawled a message on their car door with a marker, his symbol, the dates of his killings, and the chilling words, "By knife." Cecilia would later die in the hospital. Brian survived, giving police their best eyewitness account of the Zodiac Killer. Just 2 weeks later, Zodiac struck again. On October 11th, 1969, cab driver Paul Stein picked up a passenger in San Francisco. The man directed him to Presidio Heights, a quiet neighborhood. Once the cab stopped, the passenger pulled out a gun and shot Stein in the head. 3 teenagers watched from a window across the street. They saw the killer calmly wipe down the cab, tear a piece of Stein's shirt, and walk away. Police arrived within minutes, but the suspect had vanished. In the following days, the San Francisco Chronicle received another letter. Inside was a piece of Paul Stein's blood-stained shirt, proof beyond doubt. The killer mocked police, claiming he could shoot children on a school bus. He signed again with his symbol, the circle and crosshair. Over the months that followed, the Zodiac flooded newspapers with letters. He demanded headlines. He threatened mass killings. He bragged about planting bombs. Each message was signed the same way. This is the Zodiac speaking. The public was gripped with fear. Parents kept children home from school. Couples avoided dark roads. Detectives worked around the clock, but found themselves chasing shadows. The Zodiac's crimes were unpredictable. Some claimed by letter but never proven. Others left only confusion. His true victim count remains unknown. 5 confirmed, but he himself claimed more than 30. Over the decades, countless suspects have been investigated. The most famous was Arthur Lee Allen, a man with a disturbing past. He lived near several of the murder sites, was reported to have talked about killing couples, and even wore a Zodiac-style watch with the crosshair logo. Police searched his home, finding weapons, ciphers, and strange writings. Yet no DNA, no fingerprints, no concrete evidence tied him to the crimes. Allen died in 1992, never charged. Other suspects emerged: Richard Gaikowski, a newspaper editor with strange ties to Zodiac's letters; Earl Van Best Jr., a man linked by handwriting analysis; more recently, Gary Francis Post, whose alleged scars and connections raised suspicion. But once again, the evidence fell short. Despite decades of work, no suspect has ever been confirmed as the Zodiac. Who was the Zodiac? Some believe he was a lone psychopath, clever enough to hide in plain sight. Others think he may have been connected to law enforcement, which is why he was never caught. There are conspiracy theories too that Zodiac never existed as a single person, but as a myth created by the media, or even a group of killers hiding under one name. What's certain is that he fed on attention. Every headline, every broadcast gave him power. The codes, the threats, the taunts, they weren't just to scare, they were to make sure he would never be forgotten. More than half a century has passed since the Zodiac first wrote to the world. His ciphers still spark debate, his crimes still haunt California, and his name still chills anyone who hears it. The Zodiac case remains open, files still gathering dust in police archives, but his shadow looms large over true crime history. Perhaps, one day, DNA or a forgotten clue will reveal his face. Until then, the Zodiac lives on as America's most infamous unsolved killer, a ghost who once spoke and never stopped being heard.